the whole idea. Are we on?
No, we'll go into. I'll do an intro and like.
Oh right, okay, yeah, grand. Dara was giving away everything before the
Podgecast. Podgecast.
Hello, and you're very welcome back to the Podgecast, the show where I have a new guest on each week and talk about them, their work, and what's going on around them. Fuck, that was. I don't know if you've listened to many podcasts, but the intros are the worst. Like I can't do them. I'm really proud of myself there. I got one.
That made me so proud of you.
Thanks, Dad. I want to thank everyone who listened last week to myself and Ryan Carrick. Apparently, this show is now a form of virtual bullying, which is great to hear. And I'm delighted to be joined this week with Frankie McNamara, who's probably better known as Meditations for the Anxious Mind. Frankie, how are you?
Namaste, brother. I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, what a brilliant start. How are you getting on? How's there's loads to talk about, loads about you, but you put out content to help people, to guide them to meditations, to get rid of toxic spirits. But how are you? How does anyone ever ask you how you are?
Oh, next question. I'm good. I started this page in the first lockdown, and I've never had an interest in comedy. All I wanted to do was, I saw it as a perfect time with the lockdown kicking in. People were vulnerable and susceptible to new influences. So I said, now is a good time to pounce.
So you just capitalize on people's vulnerability is what you're saying.
Yeah. And then people keep texting me going, "Oh, Frankie, you're helping me so much." So cringy. Like, that wasn't my intention. No, I'm joking. That's all not true. In all seriousness, I did start it in the. I did always enjoy comedy. I was the class clown, and I didn't know when to shut the fuck up. I just didn't know when to stop. And now to be able to do that, and it's like you're on episode 60 here. So thanks for me being the 60th guest. That makes me feel special. Didn't take that long, but I'm here now anyway, and that's the main thing.
Well, I mean, in terms of the podcast, it didn't really we only started going weekly last March. I think it was March or April. Usually I'd look at Shane for confirmation, but because we're virtual, I can't actually look at him. But that's
no, it's fine. You don't need to defend yourself.
But let's before we talk about your page and all that, I want to talk about yourself. I mean, do you people probably don't know your actual name, Frankie. Do people expect you in real life to be the exact, I suppose, replica of what they see through your comedy page?
It's funny that you say that. There's I always say this, and not in a narcissistic way at all. But the stuff I put on my page couldn't actually be any more me. It's just my sense of humor. Yeah. And of course there's a bit of that in my real life as well. But then I actually get kind of creeped out when people I don't know message me being yada yada yada, Frankie. I'm like, oh, it's like, what? How did you know that? But then if you look on my page, the only person I'm following is me. So that's probably what I know. I used to have in my bio, I only follow people who are as spiritual as I am, and it was just myself. I was going to follow Kanye West as well, but I decided it'd be better. Kanye is not on my level, but
there's times where he is. I mean, I'm sure there's times where he's on different levels at all stages.
Yeah, so he's an up or downer all around
it. Yeah, because does your page you're from Dunshaughlin?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you nearly fucked it up there.
I nearly fucked it up.
Dunshaughlin. It's a little village. There's only about 3,000 people there. All it has far too many takeaways to ever be taken seriously, but I used to think that
What do you mean to be taken? How many takeaways?
Oh, there's this internal review board of people who go to small villages and just review them on the basis of their takeaways. There has to be. I haven't met them yet, but there has to be there somewhere.
Okay.
So I went to. I always thought that being in a small village, people knew all my business. you know. But then the sad reality was people weren't talking about me as much as I wanted them to, you know. And I realized that I'm actually not the center of the universe, which was a crushing blow, and which is why I made this page.
Now
Now
is
I am the
that,
center of the universe, and we're talking about me here.
and do they have like a little statue, but or is there are they or maybe it's like naming a takeaway after you? Is that maybe like the height of
Yeah, the Frankie Fiver deal.
what's the Frankie Fiver deal? What would you expect on a Frankie Fiver?
It's like a pizza with no cheese on it and a dip full of depression. Like it makes you wake up and go, oh, that's all it, like, just, oh, Frankie.
I shouldn't have spent that fiver. Do you get a drink? Actually, do you get a drink with the Frankie Fiver deal?
Well, you do, but it's only like a warm can of 7-Up that was in the takeaway driver's stomach, like just in his rolls, you know.
And he had the heat blaring in the car, so the car itself was already roasting.
Yeah, he's actually a masochist. He just you know, he loves having the 7-Up in there just because it makes him feel safe, and he just loves blaring the heat. Listening to 98 FM. Now he listens to like reruns of remember Adrian Kennedy? Do you remember
that? No, what's that?
What? You don't remember Adrian, or what? No, maybe not Adrian Kennedy. Who's the two lads? Adrian and someone else, and they just that it was a phone show. Do you not remember that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. It didn't happen. It's fine.
It was all in your head. So what do you do like outside before like we go into your page and your comedy and stuff and kind of talk through? As I know we do have a segment which is like Dear Editor, which we ask people to send in, you know, either ask for predictions or certain scenarios that you yourself are going to take them through. I guess a spiritual learning of what they should do and giving them advice. But before we go into that, what do you do outside of your page? Like you're big into music, aren't you?
Yeah, I have another page called Freddy the Brush, and that's the name of my music page. I have a Spotify. I come from a musical family. Music was always a big thing in my family. You know, I play the guitar, write my own songs. My twin brother, he sings and he writes his own songs. He's an amazing singer, Quincy McNamara. His name is actually Quincy. And
you have a twin brother?
Yeah.
I don't know what part of these things to take seriously. Or
No. I have a twin brother. I do, honestly. Yeah. Honestly, I have a twin brother. I do, yeah.
Just let me go get him. You go on.
Yeah. He's actually just an accessory. I just bring him around so people think I'm not lying.
So you music, because that's good. I found that like, I wouldn't say interesting, but it was just like, you know, you're very good. Like you're really good.
Thank you. Yeah, people are really shocked when they find out I actually have a life outside the page. Like I find that I'm in Maynooth as well, and I decided to join the Comedy Society, and I went for a couple of times, and then I haven't gone in a while. But they asked me to go on and do a meditation, and I was talking to the guy who started it up, the society, and he was like, fucking hell, I completely forgot you're actually in Maynooth. like so I'm doing that as well, doing psychology and sociology in Maynooth, and an arts degree. I've been told it's the degree of the middle class.
Because you were in BIMM.
Yeah, I was. And the reason why it's called BIM, I think, the reason I like to tell myself is it's Brighton Institute of Modern Music, and I didn't want to call it Dublin Institute because it would just be called DIM. You know, so I assumed that was the reason. But I went there for 2 years or 1.5 years, yeah. And you know, I made some great connections in there, some really, really talented people there. But I just decided to go off and do my own thing then. And you know, I took a bit of time out, and I then went into I decided that kind of environment wasn't for me anymore, and so I went into study again in NCI, and I took out a loan, and you know, kind of went through it before going to NCI, and I spent it all on spiritual stuff for my spiritual retreat center that wasn't yet established, and still isn't. You know, and then I decided to go back there this year and go to Maynooth. Yeah, so that's it really, you know. I find you know, you always find time for something that you're interested in. I feel like I'm fucking just talking about an inspirational quotes here. You find time for things that you're interested
Just
in.
you have a page there beside you, just reading them off.
Yeah. It
Hard
just
work
says, help
beats.
me.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You go with
Don't let
that.
anyone define your self-worth for you.
Yeah. So when did you start getting? So when did you start? I suppose like getting. No, you said you were always into that kind of humor. You're always a class clown. But when did you decide to, I guess, set up the page, and what made you decide to set up the page?
So,
unless you were actually just trying to capitalize on people's vulnerability, which is completely.
well, what made me want to start the page was I saw there was a real like niche for. I just found it so funny that people capitalize on spirituality, and it's often kind of it has a lot of interplay with narcissism, and you'll find a lot of like really narcissistic people will go down the spiritual route. And I knew someone like that in the past who's going to remain nameless. And I just thought it was so funny, like just how it's just so transparent what's going on, and it's like I thought there was really something funny about that, so I just decided to kind of show the fun or try to show the funny side to that, and meditations was actually they were actually what I started out with. There's about 20 of them on YouTube. If you look up, it's Meditations for the Anxious Mind. Is it too early to plug?
No, you plug away, man. You plug away.
So Meditations for the Anxious Mind, and so that was how I started out. And the page for a long time. So that was in April. And for a long or March even. So for a long time, the page was kind of, it only kind of. Well, I won't say blew up. I'll leave you to say that.
So it only blew up. It only blew up when you started doing.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, but it blew. Like it's blown up. I remember I came across your page a good while ago, which I think it was the second lockdown, and then it was only recently that like I've just seen everyone sharing because of your future predictions, your fortune telling.
So it's really only kind of blew up in the last 3 weeks, really. Like before or around Christmas time. And not that it even fucking matters, like, because when you think about it, yourself, like, you think I'm gonna feel different when I have this amount of followers. And I made a joke about it, like before I got to the 1,000, I was like, once I have 1,000 followers, I'll just have a spiritual awakening, and I'll be okay with myself. And then when I got to 1,000, Hugh Cooney's been really supportive, and really helped me along the way. And he was saying what you should do when you get to 1,000, say, oh well, I see more people are kind of saying that people have more followers than me still. So if I can just get 2,000. Then I'm going to be okay, and then keep building it from there and there and there.
I don't know if that's supportive. I think that's like damaging. Like there's always going to be someone better than you. Always.
He's like the kung fu master of Instagram insecurity.
But no, I know what you mean. Well, I actually buy all my followers. None of them are real.
Yeah. So I wonder if you could actually embody a bot follower. Like, what did I think of at night time when they go to bed? Like, if they are actually real people and nobody believes it, it would be interesting. Sometimes I think about that a lot. Like, like me and my friend always like used to joke about what is like the average human, like in general. If you could just get someone who's like the complete average human, and like we used to think it was, for some reasons, probably not funny to anyone else, we used to think like the average human supports Arsenal, and like wears like an Arsenal cap, and that like then I have this theory that people who support Arsenal don't actually exist, or they're at least just doing it for a laugh, and so yeah, I can't remember what I was saying.
You're talking about followers, and then you sort of.
Oh yeah. No, so it's like so all these fake followers actually live in a bot farm in Russia and support Arsenal.
Oh Jesus! Oh fuck! You were talking there about. So do you not believe in like horoscopes or stuff like that.
Oh yeah. So
Could you talk about like I guess not meditation, but like spiritual awakening being a bit of a transparent lie to somewhat an extent. Do you like, so don't believe in horoscopes? Would you be a fan of like what's that called? Not archaeology.
Astronomy or
Astronomy.
astrology. I actually have a video that talks about that, and it's on my YouTube. It's called "The Moon Made Me Do It," and a really talented director. His name's Max Rollison, and he's on my Instagram if anyone wants to look him up. He's actually a horror director, which was perfect for me. But he did this video with me. He whipped it up in a few days, and basically it was called "The Moon Made Me Do It." So it's that idea that I saw that I'm in a WhatsApp group, and I saw someone post in the group going, "Is anyone like having really bad mood swings?" I think it's like the moon is in full fucking circle.
Oh, it's like my Aquarius rising and my Gemini sun is rising.
Yeah, so I mix those two things together, astrology and basically saying that you're using, it's like such a grand like excuse to blame others. It's like the spiritual version of refusing liability for anything. Like it used to be, oh, I'm blaming Podge for being this way, but now it's like I'm blaming the moon. Like, so I said that it's like saying using the moon as an excuse to be a horrible person. So I actually on speaking about astrology, there's a thing called the Barnum effect. And I'm going to completely make a fool of myself trying to explain it here. But it's basically this effect that if you generalize statements enough, everyone's going to be able to relate to them. And it started out in this thing called Barnum's Circus. And yeah, that's about as much as I know on it. But that's basically what astrology is. It's like you make something so generalizable, if that's a word. I don't think it is. And that it's true basically to most people.
But sure, that's what a lot of like I haven't looked into astrology myself either. Like I'm not gonna completely dismantle or discredit a topic that people are so into, but like you look at like a lot of the statements are like just you can put your own circumstance into it if you really want to. So it could be like, you're going to find something that's going to change your life forever, and then like you might have nearly gotten hit by a car or something, and you're like, that is exactly, this is me, this is they wrote this for me, this is one.
And it can be like you kind of associate your own meaning onto it as well, don't you? Because it's like, some people it'll be getting hit by a car, some people it'll be getting away with robbing an old woman's purse on Dublin bus. So just everyone is different, and I think that's just so amazing. But the other thing that that kind of reminds me of, those like motivational quotes, and I think it's so funny when people are like, I needed to see this today. Like, this quote was made for me. Like, it's like it wasn't just like, it's funny to think of who actually makes these quotes. Like, I know I did, but like I use this app where you have motivational quotes. I don't know if you saw them. It was a while ago on my page. I used to do them, and I just like messed around some of the words, So it was, I had one, where somebody was driving the wrong side of the motorway, and I said something like, "Never adhere to society's rules," or something like that. I can't remember. Or be your own best version of yourself.
Where do you get, like, I suppose, your ideas, or do you get inspiration for some of your videos? Like if we're talking about, like, for example, most recently, you've managed to debunk the myth that is Kimmage. Which makes so much sense, because I'm actually living in Kimmage, and then we've come to the conclusion that I'm actually not a real person. I'm a computer generated program. But where did you get these ideas?
So I get my idea. First of all, fair play to you, like, living in Kimmage. I just think, like, I really do, and I'm not blowing smoke here, but I think you're amazing. Thank you for representing Kimmage. Like, I know you're just a blow-in, like, you're from the country, but how do I get my ideas? Well, I'll give you an example. Like, one of my a friend of mine in school, he said to me, he said one day, and I don't think it was meant as a compliment, but in my head I took it as a compliment. He's like, Frankie, your head is like a normal person on acid. Shout out to Tommy Hickey. And that's, I mean, in fairness to him, like whether I wanted to accept that or not, he pretty much got it in one.
It's good, like it's a good analogy, to be fair to him.
And so I went through phases where I tried to write things, and a lot of it is to do with where I'm at in life. In general, like I don't bring it into my page at all, but like in general, my life is going pretty well now. I have good things going and stuff like that. So I used to think the opposite was true. I used to think you had to be in pain to be creative, but like, I just, a lot of it, I tend to write every day or most days, so a lot of it is just practice, and I try to, or not that I try to, but I find a weird angle in something, I try to do that at least, and I've gotten practice at doing that, and a lot of it probably comes from overthinking things as well,
You're
I've kind of always tried to think like that.
Sorry, I thought someone was coming in, but like I was just gonna say, like even like you're like just sorry, fuck, I had headphones on. That was so dumb of me. That was you talking. What an idiot.
Am I in your head already?
Even when I take these off, I could just hear you going, Kimmage.
Yeah. So have you never thought about like what it must feel like to be living in Kimmage?
Well, like I'm from the country, so it's just an open field. Like there's no actual buildings, so that's why I feel at home here, because it's just an open space. It's like in Marvel, in Black Panther, and they just fly into Wakanda, and it's actually a bubble around it. That's what Kimmage is. But when you fly in, there's just nothing there. It's just complete emptiness.
Yeah, like that thing in The Simpsons, 3 days since the last earthquake.
Because I was going to say to you as well, like from your Trinity video, that's I think the most. No, that was your most recent video, which was yesterday, was the guy who says that's what it's all about. Like your trendy one, like it's so, it's funny because like there's that like stereotype, and then you tend to take the stereotype and just do like a complete, like not U-turn, but just kind of off a cliff, just completely mad, which is great. Like it's really, really funny.
Thanks. Yeah, so I don't know, I try to like kind of have an element of truth in what I'm saying, and sometimes, not necessarily in the Trinity video, because a lot of my friends are in Trinity, and I've no ill feelings against Trinity, but like they're not above being slagged either,
Oh yeah,
definitely not, and sometimes I kind of am hoping for the day that somebody takes offense. Like I have had I had a woman, and now I looked on her page, 200 followers, but she had it like a meme page, and she was going, sorry, but how is this meant to be relaxing? I can't understand this irritating Dublin voice. And I was like, I'm from Mid, you bitch.
And have you got much hate, or have you got any? Because not so much hate, but you were saying beforehand that someone had really strangely, because we asked for questions for today's podcast for the Dear Editor section, and someone had strangely written to you being like, is Jim Carrey genius or like unstable or something? And then you got a phone call, didn't you, asking for
we got a phone call off some random number last night, some private number. Now I'm not trying to connect these two people together, but some random caller, some girl called me last night, and she was like, can I do a prediction? And I was like, who's this? And she was like, Jim Carrey, and laughed and hung up. And like it sounded like she was by herself. I hope.
Well, I was by myself, but
through the voice change.
Yeah.
I actually secretly hope it is you, and if it is, please don't ever tell me, because I just want to have that for myself. But and your question was, have I ever got any hate?
Yeah, like have you got, or like even on hate, have you got like weird messages or like anything?
I've got like I haven't got any hate. People have been a lot of people talk about, our culture being sensitive, and I haven't found that really, and I think that was more so, the case maybe a couple of years ago. But I myself, maybe I'm yet to experience it, but I haven't really found it. Now I have had loads of people, loads of people who don't understand it, who aren't sure. if it's a joke or not. And it's obviously not. Like,
That's
but I
really
think that's part of the mystery of it that I like, you know. And like, I had a guy, I had some guy message me, some fella I know, and he was like, he goes, so when did you start getting into mindfulness? And I was like, oh, I had to, like, if I didn't know him, I would have just like let him not know what it was, but I just explained to him that it was a joke. But and I've had people seriously like message me saying they're feeling anxious and what to do, and at that point, you know, I don't want to lead anyone astray. Like, if it is their mental health at stake, you know. But funnily enough, I have found loads of people, like, the weird byproduct of this is, you know, I get lovely messages from people saying that, you know, the page helps them, and I don't see myself in that way at all, you know. So it's really nice to hear that, you know. It really is, like,
like comedy is a form of like release for if you're feeling anxious or depression, like, or depressive, or yeah, like,
yeah.
you know, humor and laughter is a great, I suppose, help for that. So in a way, you know, and I know this is like, you know, technically you are actually curing depression, technically, but you know what I mean. Like, people find very like humor is a great way to kind of escape or to feel better.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I've always found that myself. You know, the way, even as a kid, like, the way I always made sense of things was through humor. You know, and whether that's healthy or not, you know, that's what worked for me all along. You know, so I think in our culture as well, especially with guys, that's the way they relate to each other. You know, I don't know if you've you know, if you've ever had an experience where you've been speaking to a friend and it's real heart to heart, and something in you goes, stop, make a joke about them,
yeah,
like they're mad. You know, like,
they could be talking about
that's
their ma being dead, and you're like, she's fat.
Do you ever get this thing where you like do you ever get this thing where you're talking to, like, a really close friend, or it doesn't have to be a close friend, someone you know, you're just talking to them and you're like, I could say something that would completely just ruin this entire friendship, and it would be so easy, and it's like all it takes is like 5 words, and I could just do it. I'm not gonna do it, but I could, and I might.
And I did.
Yeah. I don't have many friends anymore.
You
I can count all my true friends on one fist.
do your like family? Do they look at your posts, or they kind of like they have you ever seen any of your posts and be like, what the fuck?
No, my mom and or my whole family are so supportive, but you should see my mom especially. She comments on everything, you know, and she doesn't really know how to use Instagram. So like, sorry. So every time I put up a story, she just does like the clapping emoji, like, 'cause I think that's all she knows how to do. You know, but they're so supportive. You know, like, my my mom was kind of in the my both parents would have been in that kind of industry on a wider scale, you know, so
Which
they're very
the
respected,
comedy
or
industry, or the kind of
no, just like the entertainment industry in
okay.
general. You know, like, my dad plays the piano. He used to play the piano in the Late Late Show, you know, and with Gay Byrne, and then my mom was actually a TV presenter.
Jesus.
Yeah, Where in the World? She did that show. You know, we both be too
I
young for.
thought you were asking me where in the world, and I was like, I
Yeah,
don't know
Kimmich.
where she.
You.
Because you were on the Late Late Show, aren't you? You were.
I was, yeah. I was on it when I was 15 years old. I was playing a song that I've come to loathe. That's not the name of it. It's called "I'm Yours" by Jason Mraz. So what we were doing, just a bit of a background. Me and my family used to do this thing where we go around Ireland and tour and play music. And I'd just get up and play, like, it was my dad's show, like he was the main person at it or whatever. And then the family would, like, get up and do a couple of bits and doing bits. And yeah, 15 doing bits. But he like, so I get up and I play the piano as well, and I used to play Butterflies and Hurricanes, and so, like, by Muse, and I just did that, and like we got paid like €25 per thing, which was grand at that age, you know, a bit of pocket money, and so we did that, and then you know, I ended up Yeah, I'm after losing my train of thought there. Oh yeah. Now I got it. Sorry. Oh my god. We're like a goldfish over here. So we ended up going to all around the country, and then like somebody from RTE reached out to my dad and said, "Would you like to do like a family medley, like 5 minute thing?" So me and my dad got up and played the piano with my brother. They both played the piano, like, well, not the same one, like the social distancing
Just
wasn't a
like
thing then, but
crossing over each other,
yeah.
doing like hops and on his shoulders, just it's like a circus act before the piano.
Yeah, and they'd be like, "Welcome to the family business." But hit it, pops. But so they played something. Then my sister sang Charlotte, and she's an amazing singer. And my mom actually just watched, but then me and my twin got up and played something. My twin sang, and for that I played the guitar. So I would have played the lead, and he played acoustic. I had fuck all to do really, because I don't think I came in for the first 30 seconds. And anyone, if you look at the video, you'll see that anyone who knows me knows I was laughing, but people who don't know me think I was smiling. I was like laughing nervously. I just looked down like that, But I started getting the giggles. I'm really bad for laughing in inappropriate places. That should be the name of my memoir. I used to be terrible for laughing at funerals.
Sorry. First of all, how many funerals do you go to?
I've been to too many for my age.
I just started to walk into churches really because I just
it's just one of those weird things that I do. But no, like it's obviously not because I'm a horrible person, like not just because of that, but like I would I don't know, it was like something, when you get that thing in your head going, it'd be so bad if you just started laughing right now. It'd be so horrible. No one would ever forgive you, Frankie.
You think of a joke. You think
it's
of
like, don't do it. And then everything I think of is just like, that's really where, like you said about ideas, that's really where, unfortunately, I come up with funny situations in my head when I'm not supposed to be laughing. Now, I have put this to the test. Thank God I don't still laugh at funerals. Thank God I grew out of it. But like another example of that, right, is a horrible example of that is that we were watching. Now, this is a disclaimer. This is not funny. I don't find anything about the subject matter funny. But we were watching in fifth
I don't know if I should turn off my mic just for this, because if I start laughing, and I don't want that. But go on. I'll.
In fifth year, we were watching Boy in the Striped Pajamas. And at the end,
I think everyone knows the end.
Yeah. The way there's no music in the credits, and you're just like left alone with your own thoughts, which was not a good place for me to be at that point. And I just broke out laughing. And then once everyone looked at me like I was a horrible person, and that just made me laugh more because no one else was laughing. And so like, that's kind of deep down. Just that's a bit about me.
But do you like?
And then, like, I obviously wasn't laughing because it was funny. Like obviously it wasn't. But it's just the whole thing where you're not supposed to laugh. Hopefully, some people listening to this will understand.
But do you like? No, I do completely get you. You're not laughing at the situation or the theme of the film. You're laughing at the fact that everyone's in silence and your brain's like, you should laugh now, and you're like, oh, it's like that thing in school. Do you know when you're getting in trouble with a mate? And you try not to laugh, but then because the both of you are trying not to laugh, you end up laughing more and more and more. Or even like I was on a Teams call for work last week, and the way my setup is I'm in the kitchen with my roommate Ryan, my husband Ryan. We don't share a room. He just stays over some nights. And he was like, he farted when I was on a team call, and like that would just be completely mundane if neither of us were on a call. Because I was on a call, I just could not laugh because I shouldn't be laughing. I think that's like, so I completely understand you there. But like, I was chatting to Tony Cantwell before in the podcast, just name drop, and good mate of mine. He's actually calling over.
Yeah, he's so funny.
He's not calling over.
Yeah.
But we were talking about like, because I find humor. Oh, that's cool. It kind of bounces. I find humor in everything. I shouldn't, but that's kind of my coping mechanism. And if anything ever bad happens to me, the only way I cope with it, no matter how sad it is, no matter how big of a loss it is, or no matter how, like, you know, devastating it might be, the only way I can cope with it is laugh, or think of a joke. And I'm always kind of fearful because, you know, some people don't, and some people do get offended. Because I would have, when I was younger, I might have got offended for different things, whether it's, you know, being like teased or something like that. So you know what it's like to be offended, and you don't want to put anyone in that situation. But I just find it difficult to understand, what should I say here, what's the vibe of the room, what would be taken funny, or even like when I'm on because of the podcast, it's like an open forum and people can listen to it anywhere. And I'm always like, should I then maybe, I don't know, step down from maybe make as much jokes or make certain jokes than I would because anyone can listen to it. When you're making your videos, are you conscious of like, oh, is any of this too dark? Like, I mean, none of your videos that I've seen anyways are incredibly dark humored, but do you ever like dabble with, maybe this joke is too much, or maybe it'll land perfectly?
Yeah, and it's such a fine line, you know, and I think, like, you know, you can make anything funny as long as it's worded correctly and the delivery is good, you know. But the thing you were saying there, Podge, about like, not that you shouldn't find humor and everything, you know, I'm the exact same way as you and that, like, but I think you should, like, you know, because the world is just so, you know, there's enough negative again with the inspirational quote, there's enough negativity in the world, and I have to do the finger waggle as well. No, there's a real lag there. Looks like tracers. But you know, there's a, you know, there really, like, there is enough negativity in the world, and if you can just, you know, bring some of that positivity to people, you know, that's a good thing, I think, you know. And but as far as taking things too far, like, I am kind of I would, like, in my personal life, you know, I'd be kind of sensitive in some ways, you know, not in like a way that I get easily offended, but like, you know, I'd feel things, and I'd try to kind of make people feel welcome, and you know, stuff like that, and I try not to hurt people's feelings. But then, like, as well, doesn't it all depend really on what's your motive, you know? As long as if I hurt people's feelings, which, you know, I could, and they're silent about it, and it'd be so easy, you know. But I actually, my ideas are just, how do I hurt someone's feelings today? But you know, if I do it in the case where my motives are good, I'm just trying to have a laugh. If someone's feelings get hurt, then it's not really my business, you know. And but I have had jokes that I find so funny, but then when I say it to, I usually bounce things off my mom or my twin or my dad, you know. And I know it's like, usually my twin will go, no, that's funny, but my mom will go, oh, no, Jesus, you can't say that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so I do sometimes, like, I respect their opinions, and sometimes I just leave it in anyway.
I respect what they say, but I still go ahead with it.
Yeah, I just go ahead with whatever I'm gonna do anyway.
See, me and my mother have very different humors as well. But I'd bounce things off. If I was making a video or something, I would bounce it off other people to see. You know, like I said a joke to you at the start, that
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't
Right.
say openly.
That's our little secret.
That's but yeah. So what is like I suppose, because you're growing rapidly, you're like coronavirus at this stage.
I'm more legal.
But like, what is this something that you want to do for the future? Like, do you have an end goal in terms of what the page is, or are you just kind of like, I don't know, what's the word? Winging it. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely winging it, but I have a lot of ambition for, you know, the page, and I'm just happy to see that, you know, I'm happy doing it no matter what. You know, if I had 100 followers or 100,000, you know, I wouldn't. If I'm not enjoying myself, I'm not going to do it. You know, and you know, it really does. You know, I get such a laugh out of doing it. You know, and so I suppose one thing as well that I'm thinking of doing for the future, you know, is I actually worked in a hotel for like 2 years as a night porter. So I got to see like the best and the worst of humanity, mostly the worst. And I actually, while I was there, and I can say it because I'm not working there anymore, and I won't name the hotel either. I actually wrote out these little diary logs, called Nightmares of a, or what was it? Oh yeah, Confessions of a Night Porter.
Is there a book as well, Confessions of a Doctor? What was that book that was like a world bestseller? And it was like of a doctor who wrote it was like a diary entry of him working on a ward. I don't know. Go on with your story.
No, I haven't heard it. But now I hope you don't think I'm copying it. I'll change the name. Secrets of a Night Porter. If that makes you feel better.
Yeah, it does actually. It makes me feel.
Okay, good.
It was my fucking book.
I just want you to feel safe, Podge. That's the main thing. But I might give you a podcast exclusive. I've never actually read out any of these Confessions of a Night Porter. So, I might at some stage during the podcast, I might read one out if you'd like to hear it.
Do you want to do it now? Will we do
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll go into the Dear Editor piece. But I think the podcast exclusive of what is this now? Say hypothetically, I was
nearly dropped my phone. Sorry, nearly had a heart attack there.
Well, which dropped the phone or had a heart attack, or were they?
What came first, the chicken or the
egg? So say I was a publisher and I was like, Frankie, I love the book. It's fucking amazing, buddy. It's powerful. It's moving. It's funny. It's really you. I want to publish it. I want this going global. I want a fucking TV series and I want a film starring Hugh Jackman. Don't know why. Just because he can fucking.
You can see the resemblance, yeah.
He can sing, so we can fucking turn it into a musical too. What do you want the name of the book to be called? Confessions of a Night Porter by Meditations of the Anxious Mind, or by Frankie McNamara?
I wouldn't have it. I'd probably come up with some sort of pseudonym.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. I'd probably call myself Podge Healy. I just want to give the money to you. I just want you to be happy.
If you became Podge Healy and then you became like the most famous Podge in the world, and then
you would hate me.
Slip into like a slow depression, but because of our conversation, out of pure spite, all I do is laugh at it. I find everything funny, and then for the rest of my life, I'm just a miserable prick because you stole essentially that trademark name.
And the ironic part of it is, I just wanted you to be happy, and you turned against me.
And then, like on my deathbed, you just come into the hospital, and you're like, "I just want to make you happy." And then, like, we share a tear, and I die.
Yeah, like none of your family are there, and I'm like the only one who visits you.
And then
you hate me. Like I know you hate me now, but like even more than you already hate me.
We
talking about.
We share a tear, and then I die, and then you go to my funeral, and then you laugh.
Yeah,
comes around full circle.
Yeah, and I rob something out of your pockets because, like, the way I think about it, you're not going to need it where you're going.
Right, let's get
a
Podge Healy Confessions of Night Porter exclusive for the podcast.
Confessions of Podge by Podge Healy.
Before we get into it, we took a 2-second break there. I looked it up. It was actually called This Is Going to Hurt, was the book that I was thinking of. So I was alongside that and thinking astronomy was archaeology. This podcast is not making me... I do have a college degree, for those.
Yeah, we're not professionals in any shape.
I did complete the Leaving Cert. Anyways, Frankie, if you want to take it away from your excerpt.
Okay. I just... so I added this in, panicking 5 minutes before the podcast, so I haven't actually read through it, so here we go.
So it's raw?
Yeah
nice.
Like the chicken.
That's how I like it.
Okay. Sunday, February 3rd, 10 p.m. I get in an hour early to clock in before I start so that I get paid to do nothing. I'm shocked I've never been caught, or if I have, maybe they took pity on me or thought I really needed the money. I don't. I walk right past the conference and banquet staff in the back corridor. They all seem happy to see me. There are 6 of them along each side of the corridor. I can't help but feel like I'm the only person who gets to walk through a guard of honour without being dead. I walk up to the canteen and muster up the courage to fix myself a plate of 5 o'clock's dinner. The chicken has already begun to crust over, and the gravy is so thick it's making a face like it's disappointed in me. Why wouldn't it be? The lunch lady is long since gone home. It's self-service at this hour. I'm self-serving. As I drag myself over to the toilet and toil through my nightly stomach pain, I hear a loud and obnoxious snort coming from the bathroom, followed by another. Out rushes Johnny, the kitchen porter, with a thick bead of sweat dripping from his glowing brow. Johnny could have been the next Conor McGregor if the cocaine didn't grab a hold of him. But now he works as a kitchen porter and gets into street fights outside pubs he's barred from on the weekends instead. I like Johnny. It's a day for the ducks out there, he shouts at me, excitedly, with bright eyes and a disposition that could quickly turn violent. Sorry, he has a stutter. I've been working for the last 19 hours washing the same 3 plates, mate, but they're clean as fuck. Before I get a chance to respond, one of my night managers rushes in to the bathroom, looking for me to start a half hour early. His name is Jan, and he has PTSD from being in the Soviet War. Some say he still hasn't made it home yet. I need you straight away. Somebody ordered the sandwich and it's urgent. He needs to be fed as soon as possible. Okay, Jan, I'll be right there. These days I try to be nicer to Jan. I felt guilty. A few weeks ago, at 5 in the morning, I put on a YouTube video with thunder and lightning sounds through the main speakers in the hotel. I found him 20 minutes later in the back office, curled up under the desk in the fetal position. I make the sandwich. The guest wanted 2 loaves of bread and ketchup in the middle. I think it's weird, but make it anyway. I bring the sandwich up on a trolley and find a woman passed out in the corridor 2 doors from the hungry guest. I step over her and keep going, as I figure someone else will look after it.
Oh, Frankie, that was
It's a good thing. I actually, like, the end of it actually isn't written, so I thought it was. I thought there was more, but that's it.
that was. I enjoyed the ending there.
Thank you.
Wow, that was.
That could have gone either way.
That was brilliant. That was fucking brilliant, man.
Oh, thank you.
How many of them do you have?
About 50.
Oh, 50?
So I think about 50 of them. So I think I'm gonna put them out soon. I think I'm gonna put it up on my page. I think that's an exclusive now. I haven't told anyone that. Not even my parents.
I'm delighted. I'm the new guy you go to. Frankie, fucking brilliant. We're gonna publish that. It's going fucking worldwide.
Jeez, you really brought me in there with you.
Before we go, we ask people for questions or for advice. So we're going to have to, I suppose, take a deep breath in and get into character. Well, not me. I'm always in character. Get into character as if you were doing your predictions, we'd say, on your infamous story. I'm going to read out 1 or 2 people ask for predictions. And 1 or 2 kind of genuine concerns that people were running for. Fuck, I can't pronounce her name. Sorry. Emily asks, does Jerry, who lives in the spires, sleep standing up?
So this is actually a note of controversy among spire enthusiasts, because people like to talk about Jerry as if they know him, but nobody's really experienced Jerry like I have. So I think I'm an authority on this. So Jerry, he actually between the hours of 10 and 4 a.m. he actually just gets like really small like that. So he does actually sleep sideways, but there's a hammock in there, and once he sits down on the hammock, the Joe Rogan podcast starts playing, but it's playing in French, and it's not Joe Rogan. It's just the dialogue of Joe Rogan translated badly into ordinary level French.
Oh, I hope that answers your question, Emily. Kate wants to know, should she open a package-free eco shop in Thurles, County Tip?
Well, Thurles is a really spiritual place, but I'll advise. What's her name?
Kate.
No, I saying I'll advise what's her name. No, I'm joking. Kate. I'd advise you not to open anything in Thurles because you'll just get about 10 people coming up to you going, what's that? What's that? Give me that. And and then they'll just, you just won't have a good time at all. So I'd advise against opening Eco anything in Thurles because it will be picketed and it will be stopped.
Thank you. We have one from Ade. Ade, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I apologize if I butchered it. He wants to know if he can get a prediction. So do you have a prediction for Ade?
Okay, so I suppose at this point, will I look him up?
Yeah, he's. I can actually just show him.
Let's see. He's on the left in the first picture. Yeah, he is. Yeah. So, my prediction for Ade is he's actually going to be like a camp counselor in like a summer camp for and it's not going to have like there's not going to be a theme to the summer camp. There's just going to be a summer camp parents send their kids to who don't love them, and then Ade is going to have to make up what they do. So he's actually just going to like go up and start talking about himself, and after realize he's not as interesting as his arts degree would allow him to think. Ade, keep being you.
Someone actually said that you climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and I think you confirmed that you actually did. Sorry, someone just sent the question, like that they predict you summiting Kilimanjaro with cans, but you did actually climb Mount Kilimanjaro, did you?
Yeah, I did. When I was 16 years old, and people are going to think this is part of the thing now, aren't they? But I did climb Kilimanjaro. Yeah, I climbed it with a few people in my class. I climbed it with Oran Halligan, my twin Quincy, and that's his real name again. John Clark, Kevin Danaher, Noel Miller, Louis Carroll. Sorry, you're so fucking bored me telling you all these names.
This is like you know when you after summer, it's like what you do this summer, and you're like me and my friends.
Yeah. Me, John, Bosco, Roscoe.
we climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, but we to be home for dinner, so we only got halfway up there, and one of the lads got stuck, but we didn't want to get in trouble, so we left him there till the next day.
Yeah, we just left him to die. Yeah, he's actually still frozen over there.
So we haven't got the chance to go laugh at his funeral yet.
Yeah. But yeah, like he's they had to thaw him out by like pissing on him.
We'll do one more prediction and then I have a few like pieces of advice that I think okay. Ashleen wants to know, will you do a prediction for her? Ashleen Boyle is her name, Dublin, Galway, and she's currently at the moment she is doing a makeup course. She took a year out of her business degree to do a makeup course, and then she's going to go into final year next year, so hopefully that's enough information.
Okay, so she's Dublin, Galway. Does it depend what mood she wakes up in? She's like, I'm a Dublin girl today, and she's a Galway girl. So I think Ashleen is going to find her place in the makeup world. It's actually a parallel universe, and she's going to have this. She's going to have this like makeup shop in this universe where she goes in and half of the memorabilia is like Dublin players with eyeliner on, and the other half is like Galway with invisible hurls. But for some reason, you can actually tell that they're invisible. And then they're wearing foundation, and it's like a play on toxic masculinity. And nobody really needed it, but well done her though. She's great, and she's actually going to be successful in this other universe.
Great. I think that's your prediction. So we've no more time for predictions, but we do have, because we've talked about this, but we've two scenarios that we were hoping people could get advice on. One is my coworker says I'm too young. I'll keep them anonymous. My coworker says I'm too young for them, but kiss me. What does this mean?
Maybe your coworker is a nonce.
Right, the last one we have is from Sean Brown, and he said, "Dad left with all teaspoons during the divorce. Has been stirring tea with his fingers for years. How does he confront him without seeming spiteful?"
Yeah, spiteful is the flavour of the day. But yeah, Sean, I know, I've heard of Sean Burns' plight, and I've heard of stories like his before. And Sean, okay, I'm looking at the camera now. Sean, it's me. And you don't actually have to be spiteful anymore. The reason your dad left you and stole your spoons was because there's actually this pawn shop that you don't know about that he's been handing his spoons over, and he's been getting spoons with pictures of your fingers on them. And so he just uses them, and he doesn't have the guts to tell you what he's done because he thinks you'll think he's weird. But he is. But yeah, so just don't be upset. You don't know the full story, and I do.
Oh, Jesus. Actually, sorry, one quick one. Lucy asks, what would you consider Kimmage as Ireland's very own Area 51?
That's an interesting question. And, I'm not trying to say people from Kimmage are aliens. But, it's like, have you ever heard that, when a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Yes.
Image only exists in the minds of those who perceive it. It's a state of mind. It's a state of just complete neutrality. There's not like and monopoly as well. Like it's just one of those things. And I'm sure Kimmage or comedians, isn't that what they're called? Are offended that they were on the brown list on Monopoly. And I just thought I always thought that was funny because you just never hear of it, and it made me think Monopoly are actually involved in the conspiracy, and maybe like the guy who made the Dublin version of Monopoly is actually a self-loathing guy from Kimmage, and that's why he's Brown, and he's he's refusing to tap into their potential, and like the 3 shops they have and the fields. There's just so much work to be done there. It's amazing. Like but the truth about Kimmage is that people from Kimmage have this. And I don't know if they've let you into this yet, Hodge, but people from Kimmage, they have this secret dialect. They speak in clicks and clacks, and they it's 3 clicks for. He's an outsider. He's from the country. Don't let him talk about this dialect.
That makes sense because when I'm walking around, all I hear is.
And you're in the public eye as well, so they're not going to want to let you in on it yet until you undergo some sort of Kimmage ritual where you scream in someone's face and they tear in your post office. But until you do that, your soul can't be free.
Frankie, thank you very much. We're going to. Because we've a minute meditation. Do you have a meditation for us?
Yeah, I do.
Before we finish up, I think because that's going to be a nice way to finish the podcast. So I'll do the outro now, and then as a cohort of followers and loyal companions for those who listen to the podcast, and of course who follow you, we can all exit this tranquility as one. So thank you for listening to the podcast. Frankie, for those of you who don't know who you are, where would you direct them to first?
So I direct them to my Instagram page at Meditations for the Anxious Mind. I've also, not to derail your outro, you'll see I have a curtain. It was actually a bed sheet before this, and I guilted my followers into clicking the link in my bio, which is they can donate a coffee or the equivalent of €2 to buy me a coffee, and that's how I got my new curtain. So they can also click the link in my bio to buy me a coffee. I'm on YouTube, Meditations for the Anxious Mind, and I'm the voice inside your head as well.
Frankie, thank you very much for joining us. It was great having you. It was great chatting to you. As always, you can get in touch with podcast.ie, Pod Henry, Instagram, Twitter, or Patreon, or all those places, social medias. For myself, Podge, Frankie, and Shane Collaborative Studios. Thank you very much for listening. And Frankie, you're going to take us out with a meditation.
Yeah, thanks, Podge. Hello. Welcome to my Minute Meditations. I'm the only spirit guide honest enough to admit that I really don't care about your well-being at all. And that's got to be worth something. All I ask from you in return is your undivided attention and praise. Today, I want you to lie back on your bed. Put your hands on your sides. Brush off the ash from the stained mattress. You really have to stop falling asleep with a lit cigarette in your mouth. Feel your body being supported by the bed. You feel loved, heard, and oh my God, you broke the bed. You'll have to call your landlord to get him to replace the frame. This is the third time he's called around this month. He'll make you sit and listen to him rant about how his dad caught him drinking expensive whiskey from the liquor cabinet and made him eat a stale ganache cake in one sitting. Thank you for listening. Namaste.